Let's get another colleague,
Let's get a colleague in, and let's get someone who's been in the markets a long time. Actually, we've all sort of, in a way, grown up together. We've Sridhar Sivaram, who's with us. Sridhar, hi.
Yeah, hi.
Great
Thanks
to have
for
you with us
inviting
here.
me.
And
Good
morning.
Yeah,
Good. Great you could make it.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. It's a great event. Looks fabulous.
And it's tradition because Sridhar was here right around this time last year as well.
Very
right?
much.
So how's it going, Sridhar? And yesterday, and just to get to the markets conversation a little bit, right? Bit of a crunching fall, especially popular mid-caps, small caps, really getting sold hard.
Prashant, it's tough to predict on a day-to-day what is happening. There's so many events happening on a daily basis. I think this is the point we've been making that, earnings have to come for the markets. And our own view is that the next financial year, the earnings will rebound. This year, we are seeing choppy earnings. Maybe some of them are in line, some of them are not. And we were just discussing that even the ones which are in line, if you look at the absolute number for financials or banks, what are their growths? 8%, 9%, 10%. Do we invest in India for 8-10% growth? Obviously not. So I think that's the challenge, that, we are coming off a very high base and there is a reset that is happening. We are very optimistic that next year will be...
the reset is ending, or is it still... It's going to go on for a while?
If I just take a minute, I think what has happened is we've had a very low, inflation, which has resulted in very low nominal GDP. And we've discussed this in the past, and I've been trying to highlight that our inflations are going to be very low. That has resulted low nominal GDP. I think the government also has realized, RBI has realized, the GST cuts. We are seeing a lot of FDI coming in because the government and Reserve Bank realizes that you need capital for growth. And Reserve Bank is cutting interest rates. I think we'll get another 25 to 50 basis points of rate cut. This is all part of the government stimulus to get growth back. And we need a little bit of inflation. We'll get the lowest inflation for the October. We'll get the number in a few days. It'll be below 1%. That's not the type of inflation you want for an economy which is growing. I think there's been a reset. The government thinking has changed. But it's time for it to play out, which is why we are confident that the next year will be good because government has done whatever they could from their standpoint. This will result in more consumption. The focus on investments was a bit too much. Less focus on consumption. I think that has flipped, and I think that will make a big difference for the government.
You spoke about FDI coming up, and the big sector beneficiary was financials.
Exactly.
4 or 5 large deals in the financial sector. How are you going to place space? Large cap banks or the mid and small cap banks?
No, so I think it will be a combination of both. In a falling interest rate scenario, NBFCs benefit a lot because their cost of funds go down. But
the sheer capital that some of the private banks are getting, RBL Bank was
but a lot of them are impaired banks. A lot of them have their own set of challenges. So these capital will come, but it'll take time for them to get repaired.
This is all growth capital, right?
It is growth capital, but they also have issues with the bank. So it's not like they are the cleanest of the clean. But it is great that this capital has come because this gives them opportunity to clean the balance sheet and to grow, which is required from an economy standpoint. So I think that's the interesting space. We are invested in some of the small banks, the larger banks we like. NBFC is the space. But we also think that we could see lower interest for longer.
Sure.
I mean, that's the key, that we could see maybe 25-50 basis points rate cut, but I don't see the rate cycle reversing in a hurry because our inflation trajectory is looking extremely good.
Sure. Nigel, before take a question, I just want to pivot to the next booth, which I think is which we want to showcase, because this is, as I was saying there earlier, we have so many new properties, and CNBC-TV18 Access, as the name suggests, is aimed at providing high quality access to our subscribers.
Sure.
Right, and I think it's something which we are building out. It's new, but I think it's got traction. And this is a premium membership from CNBC-TV18. So access to events like this, by the way, Global Leadership Summit. So subscribers are all here of the Access property, and of course it involves a lot of interactions with, senior people across industry, if they so desire. So
I'm happy I have access.
You always have access.
Lovely. Sridhar, since just to close the loop with regard to the banking and the financial space, Yesterday we had comments coming in from the finance minister on PSU consolidation as well.
Yeah.
What's your view on that space? If I look at the banking pack, yes, there have been a lot of fund infusion that's come into a couple of financial institutions as well as of banks. But SBI, the big PSU there has been actually the biggest outperformer in the last 2 months or so.
Yes.
So what's your view on the PSU banking pack? And if there is a consolidation, would you be interested?
So we are already playing the PSU packs. We've been long on PSUs for many years. We've been champions of that since almost late 2020. And they have done really well. So if you actually see the numbers, they have actually done extremely well in terms of, not only the NPAs, their loan growth. Obviously, a lot of that has played out. A large part of consolidation has also happened. Now, what we are talking of is there are 4 or 5 smaller banks which will get consolidated. I'm not very sure it will make a material difference as far as the PSU banks are concerned, unless they plan to merge 2 large banks into one, which I'm not sure, because it takes a lot to get that done. But we remain positive broadly on the PSU space also, but selectively, not all of them, but we do have a few.
All right, 2 big cues that I was looking at, for the month of November itself in the near term, and hopefully by the end of this calendar year, we get a trade deal that comes about. What's the probability out there? We have Mr. Trump sound bites coming in on a day-to-day basis. No breakthrough as yet, but directionally it seems that's on the cards. And on domestically, the Bihar elections, do you think the outcome changes sentiment a little bit?
On either of them, the outcome is very difficult to predict. I think the Trump is even more difficult to predict than the Bihar elections. At least we have an exit poll. Trump, only one person knows, which is only him, right? So he decides, and he can change it the next day after he confirms. Like he gave an interview yesterday that he had positive talks with our Prime Minister. But I think it should get resolved because I think their own inflation will start to inch up, and his own popularity ratings are going down. So I'm positive that there'll be some trade deal. Hopefully we'll get the extra 25% off, and for the first 25%, if we can negotiate it downwards, that will be a great thing for India. Which is why I said that we are positive for the next year, because a lot of this noise will get resolved over the next 3 to 6 months.
Bihar, Nigel, I just, as an aside, earlier back in the day, we used to get calls, right, from people in the market. Now, of course, also because information is so decentralized, right? Access has become, not this access, access has become so easy now. But you used to get calls, what kya lagta hai? Election mein hawa kis taraf chal rahi hai? But I think people have been, I guess, because the BJP and the incumbent has been such a juggernaut, right, in terms of election after election. That level of that uncertainty around elections has kind of gone down a little bit.
Also, I don't think Bihar will make so much difference.
That's the point.
Larger state would have made a bigger difference. Bihar, I'm not very sure it could move.
Around UP, for example.
Yes, exactly. Makes a big difference. I agree.
Sridhar, you spoke about some of the so-called tailwinds for the sector in the next year. But the very near term, the big concern has been the supply of paper. Earnings season is getting over, and I'm getting a sense that nearly 50,000-60,000 crores of paper is lined up to hit the market. Is that going to cap the upside in the very near term?
I think it's already capping the market, right? Because if you see what is happening is that the secondary market stocks are not doing as well. There's a chase for primary market, and if you look at a lot of stocks, you have similar stocks in the in the secondary market which people are not looking at. Wanting to pay much higher premium for a company which is coming in for IPO. But that's how always markets are, right? We've seen many IPO booms in the past. This is nothing new. So we don't have that FOMO feeling, fortunately. So if we like, we participate. If we don't, we are happy to stay and watch from the sidelines.
By the way, IPO suppliers yehi leke aate hain. Day after day, blocks and
QIPs and promoters.
I tell you what, gentlemen, Sridhar, we thank you for joining in, and I just hope that the next few days we hear from Mr. Trump that things are resolved. And thank you for your attention. Let's
keep
hope.
my fingers crossed.
But thanks a lot.